Hi there. I'm gonna how to draw the devil, but now I'm gonna go over shading, more fine and detail shading. Normally, this is like a mildly. This is a preliminary step right here. It's just a sketch to show the drawing, to show the placement, things like that. Now I'm gonna go into shading. I'm gonna try to shade it as well as I can, and maybe talk through what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna start with. Let's see what I'm going to start with. I'm also using a mechanical pencil this time, which I use, but a lot of people I know don't like using. So I wouldn't recommend it if you're new, but if you've been drawing for a while, I would say try it out. You might like it. The reason I like it is because I never have to sharpen it again. It's always sharp edges. Doesn't go as dark as I know you can change out leads, but it'll never really go as dark as the classical, graphite, any of that, the one and wood and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think it has a charm to it, and I really like it, and it's good to carry around because I don't like carrying around pencil sharpeners. But that's just me. Right now, I'm going into the horn because I feel like that's the closest thing to us. At least in the picture, it's probably right here the closest. If you think of this in 3D, the closest thing in space would be this horn right here. I mean, this angle of the horn would be boom, right in our face almost. So, I'm thinking about this horn as a tube. It's like a tube that's turning, it's like back here, is going a little bit toward us, and then a little bit back, and then a little more back. So I'm going to shade along the form, as if it was a tube. And the shading really involves putting small lines down like this. Throw lines in both directions, kind of like cross-hatching. But these are it's a little different with pencil. If this was pen, like cross-hatching for comic books, it'd be a little more rigid. But because that's pen and it won't come out. But with this, what I like to do with everything, I would go with little tiny light directional lines, and then I might even smooth it over with my hand real quick, like fast. Don't rub your hand in there. Do not buy those shaders, those paper things you buy at the store. Do not buy those. Those are a waste of money. In my opinion, they're a waste of money. You can get the same effect with just your finger, real quick. Boom. Don't overdo it. Just rub once. That's it. And it might not look like anything happened, but it does. Trust me. Let's do this. You're finessing. Alright. I'm not going to go too dark on the value in this particular drawing. But I would find this alright, decent. This horn. I'd be like comfortable enough to move on to the next thing. I mean, it's pretty light. It's shaded, but it's pretty light. I mean, later on I'd go back there with probably a darker pencil and do the exact same thing over again. You're slowly building the drawing up. You don't just go right to shading or right to anything. You have to build it up first. Or you might make a huge mistake and you could possibly ruin the whole drawing, really. There's always ways to fix it, though. Okay, so I'm looking at the horn here. The horn, we're assuming the light's coming from somewhere over here. Because there's a rim light over here. There's a light along the horn. So if it's coming from there, it might cast a shadow on his face a little bit. So I would actually put a little bit of a cast shadow right under the horn. Cast shadow under the nose. The darkest point is going to be around where the nose, where it pinches along this cheek. and then it's going to dissipate as it goes down a little bit. Because light will hit the upper lip and bounce up into certain areas in here. This is a smaller drawing, so I don't put as crazy shading detail there. I put a little bit, and this you have to be really careful with. This is basically halftone. That usually is usually has to do with the skin tone. Along the nose, there's a lot of blood vessels, so it'd be a great idea to throw a little bit of shadow. It's not even shadow really though. It's like where the form turns over. It turns in space. But if you just put a little bit, like a little bit on the nose, that makes it look better because it makes it look a little more genuine and real. I'm not 100% how to explain that, but it does. And then I'm sharpening the edge over here along the nose, putting a slightly darker line to contain the shadow. One thing I learned a long time ago is that when you shade something and you put a hard dark line next to it, like right along against it, it makes the shading look good. It contains the form. It's like, but without it, it sometimes will look like just a mess. Underneath the lip over here. The lip's gonna lead along the cheek over here. I put like some kind of scarring going on his cheek. Maybe like he had been in battle or something like that. I just put a scar over there. I thought that looked kind of cool. And then here's the temple over here. A little bit of slight, not shadow, but slight halftone to signify that the form is turning. Gotta do cast shadow from the ear. That's really weird. It's gonna go into his cast shadow is coming. The light's coming down, and his chin is casting a shadow onto his neck. So it's gonna kind of follow that shape around his Adam's apple over here, and then on the other side. But the darkest area will be up right here where it pinches up near the ear and right behind the, what is this? Right behind the this cheek there. I mean, it's called a masseter. It's a muscle over here. I don't know how to say it. Corner of his chin, corner of his face. There's a masseter muscle in there. There's a muscle strapping from the bottom edge of his cheek over here, all the way up into his temple. I believe that's called a masseter. But you can see those striations sometimes on people. So usually big muscular guys have that. People with square jaws. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was famous for that. He had you can see his so well. It's really creepy, especially in his old movies. Mostly in his old movies, actually. The cheek itself kind of casts a shadow in here. The cheekbone. Right here, corner of the eye. It's like above the cheekbone and is rolling right into the eye socket. I indicate that. Never leave floating shapes. When you're doing this with you're working with a lot of little small details. Yeah, I don't like the way those connect right here. The scar runs right into that thing. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I'm gonna make the scar. When you're doing this, don't leave any floating shapes. In terms of like these little shade things I do, they gotta connect into something else. If they don't, they're just little shade islands over here, and they're gonna look like zits or something. They're gonna look weird. They're not gonna read as what you want them to read. Bottom of the chin. So over here, maybe I'll give him like a goatee here. Not goatee, I'm sorry, soul patch. Nah, I don't want to give him a goatee, that's too cheesy right now. A full goatee would be weird. Okay, let's go into his ear. His ear is probably one of the things... Oh, actually, before I do that, let me shade the cheek. There's also a lot of blood in your cheek. It gathers, there's a lot of blood vessels here. So, putting a little bit of shade, they call that halftone. Halftone is not a full shadow, it's just like a very light, darker area. And that, you know, that would... I don't know why. I don't know how to say it verbally right now, but in the next video I will know how to say it verbally. Just do it around the cheek, and you're drawing faces around the cheek and the nose area. A lot of blood vessels. You know, when you blush, that kind of thing. It just makes it look a little more like it's living. Alright, let's go into the ear now. Alright, the ear. Obviously there's a cast shadow from the top portion of the ear. And I'm going to take advantage of that because the light's coming from this direction. I'm going to make it like a cast of shadow. Oops. There's a line. There's a line right here that I don't want. So it was in there when I first. Right now, just shading in, like, there's little divots that go around it. I've heard it described as a Y shape. This would be a Y shape, and there's like a circle right there. I don't know. I would actually go over. I don't think I have any tutorials on ears, but I would really go into studying that. I will put a video up just about the ear, and I'm going to start talking in these a lot more. And then for the back of the neck over here, the back of the neck needs something, so put some light halftone over here on the back. Just overall to keep it organic. He's got blood flowing through there, through his body. Also, there's another reason to do that. The other reason is the focal point's going to be around here. The darkest darks are going to be roughly around this area where you want people to look. Nose, eyes, you know, maybe the horn here, around that area. I know there's some darks over here, but you don't want people looking at the neck, so you probably just put a little light half shadow right there. It shouldn't really attract attention, really. I might do the same thing for the chin over here as well. And let me see. This thing as well. I might actually lighten this line over here on the other horn. It's just kind of bugging me. Some of these lines bother me a lot, actually. They're kind of they're too hard. Their edges are too hard. I'll make them blend in more with the pencil shading that's right next to it. I want to make it blend in a little more. And I think my time is up, actually. So what I would do, I'm not going to do it right now, but where I would go from here if I'm not going to color it. I mean, normally I would just scan into the computer and then digitally color it, which I might do that. We'll see. But right now I'm going to leave it as is. And I hope you got some tidbits from this. I just end up from here. Actually, I'll tell you one thing before I go. I just continue to clean up, clean after this. All these little shapes. Clean this little shape right there, dirty shape. So, alright, thanks. I'll make another video with